I'd like to discuss Radiator Springs itself. I was a huge Cars fan as a kid. I believe it might have been the first movie I ever saw in theaters twice. I had just about every one of the playset buildings and the toys and everything that was available. I had so many of the characters as I was obsessed with it. I even dedicated a whole episode of my podcast, the Comic Shtick Podcast, talking about the Cars franchise. So I truly, spectacularly mean this when I say that Radiator Springs is incredible. I was entranced as soon as we got there, just being in Radiator Springs. It is without a doubt the best looking and best themed land in either Disney park. I could have walked around there just looking at every little piece of imaginary detail as humanly possible for hours. I adored being there, especially once night rolled around and the neon lights activated and the music choices were magnifique. Which made me think about another themed land based on an intellectual property that I was obsessed with and loved as a kid. That's right, I am talking once again about Galaxy's Edge. I found myself wondering, why did Radiator Springs work so much better than Galaxy's Edge? Radiator Springs, for all intents and purposes, is not a versatile section of land within the Disney property. It has 3 attractions, 2 of which are practically the same concept, except in one, you listen to a ridiculous Italian accent. And in the other, you listen to Mater. And the other ride is Radiator Springs Racers, which I will get to. Because aside from the occasional appearance of characters, there are 2 eateries and a restaurant, Cozy Cone Motel, in which every cone specializes in a different themed food. Fillmore's Taste Inn, which, as my favorite Cars character, was a big disappointment to see that the hippies' house got turned into what is essentially a corporate lunch party that you have to pay out of pocket for, complete with bottled soda, bags of chips, and some fruit. The other is Flo's V8 Cafe. Radiator Springs also includes 3 shopping options: Ramon's House of Body Art, Sarge's Surplus Hut, and Radiator Springs Curios, all of which have very little unique or interesting merchandise to look through, instead mostly supplying the toy lines and play sets from Mattel Toys. Talk about a disappointing shopping experience, by the way. Disney is just truly missing out by not making some kind of unique items and merchandise for the Cars land. Give me miniatures of all the neon signs to put on my desk. Give me stuff to hang from the walls. Give me the tire peace sign on Fillmore's. Make Fillmore's organic fuel cups actual mugs or drinks. The snow globe at the curio shop. Shirts or jumpers that look like Ramon's artwork. Sell Lightning McQueen shoes that look like his shimmering cherry red look with white walls. Oh my god, why do they not sell an ambient lamp that is the street light where every third blink is slower? Come, Disney, if you're gonna squeeze money from people, then sell things other than pins! Because based on this 2007 Walt Disney Company annual report, DCP, Disney Consumer Products, has maximized Cars into a powerful year-round franchise opportunity, which jumps us across the railroad to Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge has 2 attractions, Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. Galaxy's Edge houses 4 food and or drink shops, not counting the soda vendors or the milk stand. At Sokka's Kettle, Ronto Roasters, Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo, and Oga's Cantina. Galaxy's Edge then has 8 shopping options. Resistance Supply, Toydarian Toymaker, Creature Stall, Black Spire Outfitters, Jewels of Biff, Doc Undar's Den of Antiquities, Savi's Workshop, Hand-Built Lightsabers, First Order Cargo, and Droid Depot. So what was it that made Cars Land my favorite space that we visited during the roughly 30-plus hours that we spent at the Disney parks? Cars Land and Radiator Springs felt like I was stepping directly into the world of Cars and actually going into Radiator Springs. The immersion was somehow more complete than it was in Galaxy's Edge, because every detail from the neon signs to the little bits and bobs and the cozy atmosphere depicted in the film itself is perfectly recreated in a real-world small-town charm. And Cars Land is nostalgic, and maybe that just has something to do with it. I did consider this. Would I have felt this way I did about Galaxy's Edge if it had been built around a previous established or seen environ of Star Wars instead of the somewhat new Batuu and Black Spire outpost? Entering Radiator Springs from the base of Grizzly Mountain and the end of Buena Vista Street truly feels like you've just taken a road trip to somewhere you know and love again. Oh, it's our summer road trip to Radiator Springs. We just gotta pass that giant mountain that looks like a bear. The atmosphere itself is totally different, even though both are packed with non-stop massive crowds. Radiator Springs still somehow feels like I'm actually entering a stopover town rather than a bustling hub of illicit smuggling, first-order raids, or resistance movement. And on a metatextual level, the smaller amount of attractions and shops really makes it feel like it's in line with the setting, keeping it laid back and less overtly focused on sales and making money off of you and other guests, like Galaxy's Edge does, pretty blatantly. Radiator Springs feels like a real town that has existed on its own, and isn't just made for the sole purpose of consumption and sales. Galaxy's Edge, while stunning in its own right, lacks the immediate connection of familiar scenes and characters, even though, in the way that it's designed, it is new, yet it's all visually based and established in a world that we know and incorporates pretty well all of those classic elements of it. The heavy emphasis on shopping, however, is very hard to ignore. It's designed to look and feel immersive, but it simply feels like it's only a marketplace rather than somewhere someone actually lives. It's a marketplace with an even nicer designed marketplace inside of it. The layout is meant to guide you from one commercial venue to the other. Disney wants you to feel like you're a character in this galaxy far, far away, but only insofar as you keep interacting with and spending at each themed checkpoint. But with Cars Land, guests can simply take in the charm without this constant pressure to buy something, or to worry that you'll get called over and caught by a salesman at a shop as you walk down the marketplace. And in that way, it really does feel real, even though you know that the cast members at each of the little kiosks in that shopping district area of the Galaxy's Edge would never do that. The feeling of it is still there. As ridiculous as it is to say about a universe in which there are massive vehicles with eyeballs in their windshields and tongues and seemingly internal organs, Cars Land came off feeling more like a real place than Galaxy's Edge. An area that tries so hard to feel real and immersive that it just loops back around into feeling fake, manufactured, and totally hollow. I think Disney needs to understand that these lands should capture the heart of the worlds that they're supposed to be inhabiting, their realities, and make the guest truly feel as though they're part of that reality, even if it's just for a moment. Leave them with that unforgettable sense that they belong here, even if it's like something they've never seen before. Because no matter how many times you're stopped by the same voiced stormtroopers,
Keep that droid in line, citizen.
or help Rey or Ahsoka, there's still a disconnect and a sense that it's more of a performance than a place. Cars Land, for all its cartoony absurdity and delightfully stylized reality, feels genuine in a way that Galaxy's Edge simply doesn't quite reach. So Disney execs, whoever the new CEO is going to be in 2026, I know that you're watching this. I know you've made it this far into the video. Perhaps what you need isn't just more tech and detailed props, but a commitment to capturing the soul of these worlds and making them feel less like themed spaces and more like actual real destinations.